Hey, what's up? It's me, Seth Perler, and we've got a great question from Kimberly. Kimberly asks, Summers, how can we minimize the impact of no school and changed routines so transition back to school is smoother? Do you think phone use negatively impacts executive function skills? Those are two very different questions. I'm really going to focus on the first one. So I have 5 ways that you can help with this impact. So again, Kimberly's asking how we minimize the impact of no school and change routines so that the transition back to school this fall is smoother. Transitions, when it comes to executive function, kids with executive function challenges, adults with executive function, often have trouble with transitions. Transitioning is part of executive function. Our prefrontal cortex of our brain, our front third of our brain, the frontal lobe, helps us to do many things, including to transition from task to task. So, for example, getting out of the door to get into the car to go somewhere. So that's a transition, or transitioning back to school. That's a much larger transition, right? So transitions, the brain, the front part of our brain helps us to make transitions smoothly. These are skill sets. These are skills. We're building skills for transitions. So when you are a kid with executive function challenges, this can be very challenging. So I have 5 ways to minimize the impact and make the transition smoother. Way number 1, keep practicing executive function skills in the summer. So a lot of times when summer starts, all the wheels come off. There's 100% freedom, and which is great. It's often much needed for a bit, but we, meaning me, and people who have executive function challenges, when I'm working with kids, there's a balance between how much structure they need and how much freedom. And that's a very fine balance. And excellent teachers are really good at this. They can differentiate with a whole group of kids and really find that balance and differentiate in amazing ways. So look to the teachers to see how they do it, because they can be an amazing inspiration for this. But essentially, we want to keep practicing these skills, executive function skills, in the summer. We want to have some structure. Yes, the kids need lots of freedom in the summer, but there has to be structure. And we want that structure to be known. And I'll explain what that means in just a moment. But when we are using executive function skills more intentionally and mindfully during the summer, as always, the brain changes. And for kids, their brain is, the prefrontal cortex will continue to develop until they're 25 or 30 years old. So, and it's developing so much as children, as teens, that we really want to remember the brain is changing. They are developing skills during the summer. So we want to maximize that. That's going to help with the transition. Now, I said I would get back to a concept, and I'm going to get to it in number 2, the number 2 way. Visual routines, calendars, and schedules. So even though it's summer, you want your child to be practicing these executive function skills during the summer. And any routines that are routine, you want to keep a lot of routine. So it could be a bedtime routine, wake up routine, cleanup routine, any types of routines that aren't solidified. You want them to be visual. They can be a very short list, they can be images, whatever. It depends on the age of the child, and so on and so forth. But you want visual calendars, visual schedules. So visual, you want things to be posted up where your child can see, because you want them to be practicing looking at a schedule, looking at a calendar, not just depending on you to tell them everything. That does not help them build skills. They need these skills. So having those visual things where they can see, oh, that's the routine. You're not always reminding them and nagging them. You can just say, nope, look at the routine. It's on the calendar. Next, number 3. Number 3 is to build buy-in and ownership. Build buy-in and ownership. The more buy-in and ownership your child has, the more agency they have, the better off everybody's going to be. But you want to build buy-in and ownership. So, for example, if they say, let's say it's something that they want to do, hanging out with their friends, one of their hobbies, camp, whatever, and they say, when is such and such? And you say, it's on the calendar. Not in a contemptuous, condescending way ever. Just, oh, it's on the calendar. Go check. Oh, but you know when it is. Okay, you're right. I do. Go check the calendar. We want them to learn to depend on that visual tool, that thing that they need to be building skills around that. We want them to depend on that rather than you to build that stuff. So well, that's one way to build buy-in and ownership, is have them use the calendar. Another way is saying, these are two of my favorite sentences. Wow, that sounds really hard. How are you going to solve that problem? How can I help? So if you're taking notes, that you can jot that down. Wow, that sounds really, whatever it sounds, hard, challenging, difficult, stressful, uncomfortable, whatever. How are you going to solve that problem? Rather than I'm going to give you advice and tell you how to do everything and tell you the answer to everything. And how can I help? And getting the buy-in from them. So that's number 2, how to build ownership. And number 3, to build ownership during the summer is to create like what I call the sacred study space in my work. If you're in any of my courses or anything, but the sacred study space, the school shopping, like don't do the school shopping for them. Take them. Maybe you do your own shopping while they're doing their thing, or maybe it depends on the age and everything, but maybe you give them a budget depending on how mature they are. But how much can you let them do on their own? How much can you not do it for them? So that gives them buy-in and ownership, and creating the study space during the summer, give them buy-in and ownership and creating an awesome space. So that's how to build buy-in and ownership. Just a couple of ideas for that. Now, number four, do calendaring together. Do calendaring together. Make this part of your routine. If you can make it part of a daily routine and it's a quick and you guys can do that together, that's awesome. But at the very least, if you can make it a part of your weekly routine to calendar together and schedule out your weeks together and sit down as an event with your child, preferably it'd be great with the whole family, and look at the week together. Oh my gosh, building that skills over the 10 weeks or so during the summer, where you're all doing that together and they can see you modeling how it's done or how you do it. That is an amazing way that you can help. Now, number 5, the last way, is to prep for this fall way early. Do not wait till the week of school to get the back to school list, to start reading through everything, to get the supplies, to do all that. Start way early with your child. So you have, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks left, and plan in several times to be working on the stuff. Plan it in the calendar, on the schedule, put it on the schedule, the things that you need to do to prep for school, so that they can see it, they can anticipate it, they can know, oh, we're going to be spending an hour on such and such a day doing the shopping, working on the study space, emailing teachers, reading through syllabi, front loading the calendar for the year. Having discussions, heart to hearts. Now, obviously, heart to heart talks with your kid do not give skills, but they're very important. And to have people who are their mentors, people that you trust, other people to have heart to hearts with them before school. Those are really powerful things as well. So anyhow, the point is to prep way early in little chunks. So those are the ideas that I have for you in terms of, let's go ahead and look at this again. The how to minimize the impact of no school and change routines to transition back to school more smoothly. Now, do I think cell phone use negatively impacts executive function skills? Obviously, I would have to make a whole new video on that. But in a nutshell, yes, I think it negatively impacts. And yes, I think positively impacts. I think my opinion is that the negative impacts are way more than the positive. But you improve executive function using the cell phone. There is a lot of executive function that's going on with this. Okay, so you have to execute to use the phone. You are using executive function to use the phone. Look at how quickly your kids do that. That is because their brain has developed executive function skills to use that tool and all the many tools within a cell phone. The thing is that this is so demanding of attention. It is just calling for attention, and attention is very scarce, and it is designed to take their attention. Attention is part of executive function, but when that attention is going there and it is being taken from other very important things in life, that is when it becomes a concern to me. So that's all I got for you. My name is Seth Perot. I don't even know if I introduced myself. Seth of SethPerot.com. I'm an executive function coach. I wear a lot of hats in the executive function 2E, ADHD, neurodiversity worlds. I have a summit called TIFOS, the Executive Function Online Summit, for compassionate and proactive parents, teachers, therapists. A lot of people come. This year, we're having about 90,000 people from over 80 countries come to the online summit, August 11th, 2023. Would love to have you join us. We have a bunch of experts that are teaching parents how to support your kiddos. So check that out at executivefunctionsummit.com. You can find me at SethPerot.com. And you can like this video. That helps the YouTube algorithm, all the things. You can leave a comment below. What do you think about ideas that you have to minimize the impact of no school? What do you do? Help all of us get some good ideas. so that the transition back to school is more smooth. Or you can comment on the cell phones. That's an interesting topic that I will take on again. All right. Have a fantastic day. I want to wish you peace in your heart. I want to wish you joy, and I want to wish you connection with people you care about, particularly the kids in your life. Have a fantastic day.